I'd
If you're
say
just
like
playing for fun, yeah,
yeah.
then maybe not. But if you're playing a fun list like John Spar had with all those trolls and ogres, and yeah. But if you're thinking truly strategically, like you're speaking of, Joe, yeah, I could see that being useful.
Yeah, I just think buffing up because we've talked about a lot of these point costs, especially for the berserkers. Because I would like to take a good amount of berserkers too. But
Yeah,
even
they're expensive.
yeah, so like having those guys to kind of pad your numbers a little bit, kind of like the mortal orcs, just to pad your numbers so you don't get broken after losing like 10 guys.
Yeah, it does make sense. Yeah. Well, it depends on what those 10 guys are, and
Yeah, that's true.
If any of them are like this guy, the Gundabad Orc captain, he's probably not going down very easy. So the Gundabad Orc captain is a fight 4. So hey, yay, you got somebody with fight 4. Other than the Berserker, who's a man-sized model. He's strength 5, defense 6, 2 attack, 2 wounds, courage 4, and then the standard might, will, and fate compliment. He has heavy armor and a sword. He has march, and you give him a shield for 5 points to make him defense 7. So strength 5, defense 7. Where have I seen that before? Oh yeah, the Blackguard of Barad-dûr captain. And to me, I personally think the Blackguard of Barad-dûr captain is the sneaky, super good, no-name captain in the entire game. Personally, if I had to take any captain in the entire game, I would probably take that one, just because strength 5 and defense 7 is nothing to laugh at.
Yeah, they're considered competitive, and also this guy has ancient evil against dwarves and elves as well.
Exactly.
So you're strength 5 plus 1 wound against dwarves and elves. It's pretty gnarly.
You're wounding most armored elves on 3s.
4s.
Well,
4s. Unless you're fighting like defense 5 guys.
Yeah, defense 5. That's what I meant.
Okay, yeah, armored elves, not shielded elves. I got you. Yeah, the armored elves are 5. So yeah, you're wounding them on 3s. You're wounding, non-shield wall Iron Hills on 4s. Yeah, that's awesome.
You get that march that everybody needs.
Yeah.
This list has no shortage of march though.
That's true. I just looked over, saw everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see another hero with that as well.
I see 2 more. Yeah.
So
let's move the big boys
to the creme de la creme, and we'll start with the small one first because, of course,
the small one.
The small one. My personal favorite. I'm just gonna say
the small one that is
still bigger than everybody else.
Yeah, he's Bolg and Azog. This is just like a personal thing for me. Bolg and Azog are actually some of the scariest heroes in the game for me. And it's probably because every time I have versed them,
they wreck your ass.
They wreck. Now, granted, there have been a handful of games where I have versed both Azog and Bolg, and their opponents aren't like, my opponents aren't like 100% dialed in with them. Like they're like, they're going after troops. They're not calling heroic combats, that kind of thing. But Bolg and Azog, man, especially Azog, but Bolg as well, are just extremely scary, and they're hero assassins too.
They really are. So let's talk about Bolg. So he is fight 7.
Yuck.
And I mean, let's just start right there and go, holy crap.
He's like the only orc that has fight. Him and Azog are the only 2 orcs that have fight 7.
No, I know.
The only one's above fight 6.
Yeah, you're right.
Above fight 5. There's not really anything out there above fight 5.
I've seen quite a few discussions on like the Great British Facebook and ASBGA. I've seen in quite a few forums. I've seen quite a few people that are kind of puzzled on why Bolg in particular has fight 7, and that's one thing. Him and Azog both. That's one thing I was hoping when the new book came out, the Armies of the Hobbit, that they would get a little nerf.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, he's an orc, but in the movie, I'm going off the movies here. Bolg straight up kills 2 fight 5 heroes, and he wrecks Tauriel, who's a fight 6 hero, or he manhandles her.
Well,
he also manhandles Legolas, who's fight 6.
To be honest, it took 4 heroes to kill him.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. And 4 heroes, 2 of which are not. There are no slouches in combat with Feely Keely. Tauriel is definitely no slouch in combat. She's got 3 attacks base. And then the guy that finally took him down was Legolas, who's more of an archer when it comes to MESBG comparisons. So Yeah. I can understand why they gave him Fight 7, since the books, these are based off the movies. And I will
Yes,
say Peter Jackson definitely gave us a heck of a good fight
they
scene with that.
that's kind of my thing is I could see where they deserve Fight 7, but the part of me that's like, well, using that logic, then why
He
isn't
got smashed.
then why isn't Emerhill Fight 7? Why isn't Aemir Fight 7? Why isn't, like, it's just kind of one of those things where the part of me that's like because people talk about the Hobbit profiles having a power creep.
Yeah.
The part of me is like, well, that's true, but
And they also did it to try and get guys back in the game. Let's be honest, when those movies came out originally in 12, 13, and 14, the game was kind of in its no man's land. So they brought out these big baddies with the new profiles and really buffed them so that they could get a lot of hype, and then, of course, to sell money. Because if you don't sell money, this game wouldn't be around.
Now here's the part of me though that I'm like, okay, it actually does make sense that they're both Fight 7, purely because you look at the rest of the army, their heroes are absolute trash in terms of their fight value.
Yep.
And granted, they have a lot of big monsters and stuff, but I've seen players verse Gundabad with like lesser heroes, quote unquote, and still win, killing monsters and Azog and stuff. I mean, it could happen. I mean, I think that they need the Fight 7. Then there's the part of me that wishes they didn't have the Fight 7. So there's kind of two parts to me on that.
Hey, I think anybody who goes up against anything that really trounces them fishes they didn't have whatever it was that trounced them. I'm sure there were some folks that didn't want to go against those great beasts.
Yes.
Yeah, but let's go ahead and get into Bolg. I mean, we've talked about his Fight 7. I think that's about it.
So he's also Strength 5, Defense 7, 3 attack, 3 wound, Courage 5, which is really good for an evil model. He's got really good courage. 3 might, 3 will, and 1 fate. So he's got the typical, what you would expect of a big baddie evil guy with might, will, fate. He's got heavy armor, which is what gives him his defense 7. So that means he's just defense 5 base, which does make sense because Azog, who we'll get to later, is also defense 5 base. And he has a 2-handed pick. No other war gear. 2-handed pick. Well, why is that important? Well, he's burly. So you're talking about a guy who's strength 5 with a 2-handed pick and burly. He's basically Dane.
Ancient, and he has ancient eel for elves and dwarves.
Exactly. So now he's going up against Dane and wounding him on +2. So he's like, "Oh, Dane, you're defense 8. I don't care. I wound you on 4s." And Dane's like, "Oh, matey, that's nice. I wound you on 4s as well." In my crappy accent.
Except Dane has to strike out.
Dane has to strike up. That's true. Touche. But yeah, he's got all the heroics too where you want him. He's got, since you guys mentioned March earlier, he has heroic March. He's got strike, strength, and challenge, and he's a hero of valor. So
he could do some good challenging.
Challenging, yeah.
Challenge, oof.
Yeah, there's a lot of fight 5 non-striking valor heroes out there. Forlong, I'm looking at you.
Even Huron, you see a lot of Hurons, and he's a valor.
Oh, yuck.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Huron would have to strike.
Huron have to
fight 5.
Yeah.
Bolg's got the advantage there. I mean, I'm looking at you, Aemir. I would take Bolg against Aemir any day.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Me too. Crap. I didn't realize.
I'm taking Bolg against Théoden.
Why aren't more people talking about this?
I don't think people realize it.
A lot of people talk about Shagrat and challenge, but Bolg and challenge, oof.
Hey, he could challenge. He can challenge Shagrat.
No, he can't.
Was he? Shagrat for fortitude.
He's fortitude. Oh, okay. I thought he was valor for some reason.
Could you see? All right. So picture this: Bolg going against Boromir, Captain of the White Tower.
Oh yeah, easily.
That would be a heck of a matchup.
I could see that one. I could see it. Boromir. Here's how I see that playing out. Boromir, if he won the fight, he'd have a lot harder time wounding Bolg. He does have 6 might.
If you're Boromir and you win the fight, you blow all your might to kill Bolg.
Bulg.
much.
Bulg is going to need 4s doing Boromir.
Yep.
That's
Even fully armored, he needs 4s. Yeah.
and not to mention if you deny the challenge, then you're talking about some. Well, you got 6 might. Well, I can't call heroics now.
But you can call him. He's just the only one who can benefit from him.
Well, yeah, it's pretty bad though.
Yeah.
Boromir's
I
normally the
think-
center of a shield wall.
Yeah. So that would be a crazy. Bolg against Faramir? Hands down.
that's hands down Bolg.
So how about this? Bolg against Aragorn Strider from the Fellowship.
I have to give it to Bolg. Bolg, honestly.
Yeah, I
'Cause
know, right? Because he's a Valor. He could challenge him.
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken,
Gray.
Yeah, that's easy.
And off the white.
Yeah, that's easy too.
Any number of the aren't all like the Kings of Men and all that Valor. They eroded it to where they're Valor now. It's
Yeah.
the Kings of Men.
How about going? We're talking all good versus evil. How about some evil versus evil? How about going against like Kamul the Easterling, or I'm sorry, not Kamul, Amdur, Lord of Blades.
Yeah.
And that's
another Valor one.
And that's the deal. If you kill him, you get D6 might back, right?
D3.
D3.
Yes.
I mean, you're talking about maybe pumping Bulg up to like 6 might at the end of it, or 5 might, because you're going to have to burn
5 might. Yeah.
That's pretty rough. Oh, Lurtz is also a Valor, so he would run over Lurtz too, I think, for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely run over Lurtz. Yeah.
He need 3s. No. Lurtz is defense 6 now. My bad.
He'd still be winning them on 4s.
Bulg has the Bringer of Death rule.
Hold on, before you go into that, he can take a Fell Warg, which I would say is a must. He can also take a Orc Bow.
Yeah.
So how about that amazingly awesome Fellwarg base, guys?
Yeah.
This is a side. That base is the weirdest base out there, and I've heard several people. I've actually seen a post about it on the GBHL about, can I put my Bolg on a nicer base? And I mean, just that weird, long, elongated base is so strange.
I think it's because of the Warg's pose. He's like stretching or something.
Yeah.
I
actually saw a lot of people are like, forget the base, just get rid of that nasty war.
That's actually one thing that I was expecting us to get. We never did was a alternate Bulg model and Azog for that matter. Well, we did get an alternate Azog technically because he comes with that diorama. It's kind of weird that like the Keeper of the Dungeon got another model, but Bulg didn't.
Yeah, I know. The Keeper of the Dungeon, who was originally cut and then brought back only for the extended edition for all of 15 seconds before he gets blown into wet little red bits by Galadriel, gets 2 poses. But Bolg, who is the series antagonist for the most point for 2 movies, gets 1 with a really weird Warg pose. Yeah.
I remember when he came out, because he came out with the Battle of 5 Armies book when the Battle of 5 Armies movie came out. Because I remember, because originally the Keeper of the Dungeon was going to be Bulg.
Yes,
but
he was.
Peter Jackson changed it. I guess he wanted a CGI. He wanted like a bigger, more menacing figure. So I remember in the movie, Bulg shows up when Azog's like, Bulg! And then he shows up. And then the model came out.
Shoving guys out of the way.
Yeah, the model came out. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. Because we finally got a Bulg model. A movie later.
Well, actually, the Keeper of the Dungeon model was Bulg. And the profile.
Yeah, he was in the first, Unexpected Journey. Yeah, in the rulebook, yeah.
Yeah, and he had all of, again, 2 seconds of screen time.
And then they changed, and then they changed it to Gundabad Orc General or some crap.
Yeah.
And then it became the Keeper of the Dungeon with the
tab. Yeah, because I
on.
remember reading through the SBG magazine by Damien O'Byrne and Tom Harrison, and they had him in there. And I was like, who the heck is the Gundabad General? I see who it is. It's old Bulg.
It's Bulg when he had like long hair and he was like, I guess, a teenager. Rebelling against dad.
A little porkier too.
Yeah.
So let me get into the Bringer of Death.
Every time Dan cover it.
All right, Dan.
You try to usurp him.
All right, Dan, go ahead.
Okay, every time Balg slays an enemy model, take note of it. Once he has killed 2 or more models, he causes terror. Once he has killed 5 or more models, he also gains Harbinger of Evil. Special rule. Once he has killed 10 or more models, he gains Mighty Hero special rule. And then his Morgul Arrow. Any model that suffers a wound from a model with the special rules shooting attack that isn't slain must roll a d6 at the start of each subsequent turn. On the roll of a 1, the model suffers a wound. I've never seen anybody take him with the bow before, just because I think
I have.
just because
Jason did
Only when playing
the
Azog Hunters.
Yeah.
Okay, I could see that being very good then. That would actually be good.
Well,
Yeah,
and if you
Azog's
circle
Hunters.
back, if you circle back below his options and heroic thing, it says if your army includes Bulk, all Hunter Orcs and Hunter Orc captains in your army gain the Morgul Arrow special.
That's
rule.
really good
So that's
then.
really good.
Yeah.
Because
Good pump 'em
we'll
with-
side note for a second and say that Azog Hunters, their army bonus is +1 to their shoot value. So they're the typical orc bow with a 5-up, 18-inch range, but being able to go to 4-up is much better. And the fact that you could kind of use that to target an enemy hero and just try and get 1 wound. Yeah, even if that hero fakes out of it. Now for the remainder of the game, and if that's turn 1, turn 2 that happens, you're talking about 7-8 turn game. Every turn he has to roll a dice, and on the roll of a 1, he takes a wound. So that's a great way to potentially steal a VP by targeting an opponent's leader and making it so that for the rest of the game he could put a 16% chance to just you taking a wound. You're taking a wound.
I could also see that. I can see that being really good at taking down like models like a Mumok or a
multi-wound models.
Yeah, some of the crazy stupid
trolls.
defense. Yeah, the trolls.
Something
like a crazy
Eagles.
stupid defense. But if you manage to wound it, then next thing you know, you're possibly doing more damage to it throughout the game.
Yeah.
And so if you shoot someone, let's just say you do 2 wounds to a model with 2 separate works. Does that mean you got to roll 2 dice, or is it just once?
It says any model that suffers a wound from a model with this special rule. So it says from a model. I'm assuming every model that does that. So if you get 2 of them, then I would say you're rolling 2 every turn.
It's pretty good, actually. Why aren't more people doing that?
Because you don't really see Hunter Orcs, or
True,
not
yeah.
Hunter. You don't really see Azog's Hunters, really.
I have to change that.
Well, with the Bringer of Death rule, I think that is a really good rule. But I think it's, unless he has like an outstanding game and overperforms, then I would say than most heroes often do, then you probably won't get Mighty Hero. I think killing 10 or more enemies is pretty difficult.
Getting Harbinger of Evil though is really good, especially if you break your opponent. I think when me and Jason played, we've had several games where he took Azog and Bolg on the same army. There was one game where he might have gotten it because he ran over all my Isengard guys.
Yep.
He had 2 models left, and it was Azog and Bolg.
I brought up his wonky base earlier for a reason. He's got that wonky base, but it's really great because if you turn it sideways, you can get it in against like 3 or potentially 4 guys a turn. So getting charged when he's facing head on means he's only going to be fighting 1 guy a turn. And Joe did it to me when I played his Ruffians, where unfortunately I ended up having to burn a lot of might earlier. And then he started winning priorities and had movements and was just charging Bolg with 1 guy. But against the Isengard game that he's speaking of, I specifically moved Bolg into combat with his base, long-wise, so that I would let him countercharge me. And then I was throwing 4 dice and just getting the 6 and then killing 4 guys. So after doing that for 2 turns, I got Mighty Hero, I think, like the second to last turn or the third to last turn of that game.
It was like to the death or something where we kept rolling. We kept
no,
rolling
it was Lord. It was Fog of War.
Yeah. Because then I remember at the end of the game, Azog and Bolg were literally the only two models left in your army. And then
Yeah.
you literally won because you killed the guy I was protecting and the guy you were trying to kill or something in like
Yep.
one fight.
Yep.
You won the game in one
Yep.
fight.
Yep. You couldn't wound Bolg.
Now I'm going back just because I want to talk about this. I'm gonna go back to the Bolg ruffian scenario. So I charged Bolg with one ruffian, and then I literally surrounded Bolg.
God.
I surrounded Bolg with like 10
Oh,
ruffians,
God.
and I whipped his work to death.
Yep. Because the whip was shooting weapons.
Yep. And I think I
So
killed my. I don't even think I killed my own guy. I just killed his warg.
I think you did.
Did I?
Because that's why I didn't get anything that
Yeah.
game.
Yep.
I think I had like maybe 2 wounds or something like that. 2
But
kills.
that's a crazy shenanigan thing where Bolg should have gotten 20 kills that game. But I think definitely getting Harbor Evil is viable because especially in one heroic combat, you can imagine you can kill probably 4 guys in one turn. With them.
Charging somebody like Jason was talking about, you could easily get 3 guys in there and then heroic combat off that and easily get probably 3
So maybe
more. So
maybe that's the real reason why he's on a wonky base, so you can charge a model charge a shield wall sideways like that,
Yeah.
and try and get 6 kills in one turn with
Yeah.
a heroic combat.
I mean, it works for me. That's how I did it.
But
It worked once, but
so-
it did work.
So to clarify, everyone, Bolg is the small hero in this list. He's not the main hero.
Even though we've been talking the hell out of him.
We've been talking for about 30. We've probably talked about him more than we talked about Dane when we talked about Iron Hills.
No, I think we covered Dane more. I don't know.
So you
let's talk about the big one.
Yep, the big one. He is the big one.
are we going to talk about the signal
big
tower,
one.
or are we going to talk about
Yeah,
him going to him?
We're gonna talk about all of it. All 2 pages of Azog.
3 pages.
3 pages.
Golly.
And look, before we go into Azog, let me talk about this army bonus.
Yeah,
if either Azog or Bolg is the leader in this force, you gain the Master of Battle special rule. So that's pretty dang good.
Bolg 2. I didn't realize that. I thought it was just Azog. That's actually really good. Yikes! If you take Bolg and get him with get all 10 kills and then have Master of Battle, he can have Might for days.
Yep. And it's just straight up Master of Battle. You don't even have to four up it or anything.
Wow.
Yeah. So they are green allies with Dark Powers of Dol Guldur and Azog's Hunters, which, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
And they are convenient allies with I'm trying to find it. I'm sorry. I can't. I don't seem to find it. Oh, there it is. Dark Denzians of Mirkwood, which also makes sense. And Goblin Town. And is that Mordor? Moria. Okay, so Moria and Goblin Town. So you got 3 convenient allies and 2 green allies.
Seems like to me though that you would really want this army bonus.
You would. I think you do, but the guy who won first place, John Stokes, forewent it in order to.
Oh, well, I'm thinking of one cheeseball way you can do where you take Goblin Town and you take Smeagol, and then you take Azog.
Oh God.
And you get someone in at the ring and then you charge Azog in and massacre him.
All right. You know what? That's actually not a bad idea because then you could take the stone flail with Azog, and it would actually be viable.
Yikes.
That would be the one time the stone flail would be viable with Azog.
What have I done?
So let's talk about the stone flail real quick. So the stone flail is a 2-handed weapon that follows the normal rule for flails. Wow, for flails with the following exceptions. When fighting with a stone flail, Azog's fight value is reduced to 6. Azog does not reduce his fight value for using the Whirl Special Strike. So that's pretty cool because normally when you whirl, you go to fight 1. So he maintains fight 6. Additionally, wounds inflicted by the stone flail cause not 1 but D3 wounds instead. Determine any number of wounds after fate points are used, and any number that is struck but not any model. That is struck but not slain is knocked prone. So you're doing D3 wounds, and if you're not killed, you're knocked prone. That's pretty good, and you're fight 6. So I brought this up in the Iron Hills one where even if you strike, the highest you can get to is still fight 6. You will go up to 10 and then come back to 6, and that is per the FAQs.
Okay.
But what
Makes
you
sense.
just said, Joe, why would you need Master of Battle when you're going to have 6 points of might? Because the White Warg is a 3/1/1, which we'll get to in a little bit and talk about that symbiotic relationship they have. When you can throw Smeagol in there, make your opponent fight 5 max.
To clarify for everyone, his stat line is the exact same as Bolg. Fight
Yes.
7-3.
But he's only defense 5.
Oh no, he's only defense 5. He actually
True.
has to pay
You
for
have to
the
pay for
heavy
it.
armor.
And by the way, guys, he does have Burly, and the Stone Flail is 2-handed weapon, but he does not come with a 2-handed weapon base. You have to give him the flail.
Yeah, so giving him the flail, he's going to get the +1 wound.
So it seems like
Yeah.
you can give him. Did you guys talk about the well? We haven't talked about the signal tower, but you can upgrade him with the signal tower, which is really expensive.
Yeah, Signal Tower, the White Warg, Stone Flail, and heavy armor.
It's let's put it this way: it's a troll, it's an ogre, and it's a warbat, all wrapped up in one, points wise, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. He's got the same heroics, by the way, as Bold: March, Strike, Strength, and Challenge.
He's
a hero legend.
Yeah, he's a legend, so his thing's not as good.
A little harder, but still.
Although that being said, so like I was talking about this other day at the tournament. So like we're talking about other heroes of legend. Like for instance, I run Théoden a lot with Rohan.
Yep.
I don't feel comfortable challenging pretty much any other hero legend. Maybe Sharky, and that's it.
Just
with Théoden.
Théoden has challenge, doesn't he?
He has strike and challenge, yeah.
Wow.
I think he has March too. Now,
probably
with Azog, I would feel confident challenging most heroes that are like, for instance, I would challenge Dane. I wouldn't challenge Gogolad. I would challenge Théoden. I would challenge Aragorn. Because I would charge, because here's the thing is, if you call a heroic challenge and challenge a hero and the hero accepts it, can they strike?
Yeah, you both can strike.
So you're both locked in the challenge though, right? Then like the next turn you could strike. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't really sure how that works.
So here's the thing with challenges: it's called during the fight phase, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those sneaky ones where if your opponent's like, "Yeah, I'm going to strike against you," and you've got Azog, well, if you've got the army bonus, you get the chance to do Master Battle and do it for free, or you've got the chance to go, "All right, I see your strike. I'm going to challenge," and then you're locked in combat until one of you dies. So it really depends on what you are willing to risk there. Because let's be honest, pretty much any hero, like you just said, is going to try to strike against you.
That's one thing. So like, Azog wounds every hero. He has a rule called I'm Master. He wounds every hero on a 3+, regardless of defense. It's probably the best hero killing rule in the game in terms of just straight up killing heroes.
Don't forget the flail, +1.
You have the flail. I'm trying to think of like heroes. Gilgalad would have a pretty good shot against Azog. Only because he's the base higher fight, and only because he has an Elven made weapon.
Fair.
I would be pretty scared to send Elendil against Azog, even though I know Elendil can, if he wins the fight, he can do a lot of damage to Azog. But I would have reservations about it. Elisar, I would have reservations on sending him against Azog, but at the same time, I could see him doing some damage to Azog.
Yeah, because he's got the same bonus with the,
Anduril.
His sword.
And
yeah.
Théoden, I would probably never willingly charge Azog.
You're gonna try and run away.
I did against John, but last turn he was able to catch Théoden, challenged me, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna decline your challenge because I don't think I'm gonna win that fight, and I'm just gonna, because I had no might. I was like, you know what? I'm not about to give Azog
another 3
more might.
points.
Emer Hill, I wouldn't. I'd be. I'm trying to think of all the heroes of legend. I'd be pretty scared to send Emer.
Well, by the way, to interrupt you real quick, Azog has another special role. It's his last special role. It's called General of the North. Azog's Stand Fast rule has a 12-inch range, and unlike other heroes' models, Steadfast rule, his Steadfast can affect other orc heroes.
Oh, that's actually pretty dang good.
That's like There's another model that can do that. I think there's
Saruman. Saruman has it.
Yeah,
Um,
I think I covered it in one of my army reviews. I can't remember who it is now.
Gandalf?
No, it's
No.
it's not Gandalf. I think it's
I think it's somebody from Minas Tirith. I don't remember. I honestly don't remember. Emerald? No, I don't remember. But there's somebody else who has it. That's a really good one because they're a low courage army. So I mean, he's courage 5. So he's
3 will.
He's 4 will. Let's be honest, he's got 4 will.
Yeah, true. The warg.
Yeah, so let's talk about the White Warg real quick. So the White Warg has its own stat line. He's strength 5, defense 5, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, and then he's got 3 points of might, 1 point of will, and 1 point of fate. Claws and teeth. He's got fell sight and terror. So when Azog is on the White Warg, Azog causes terror because the mount causes it, which means the whole model causes it because they become one. And then he has fell sight, so he doesn't need line of sight to charge, which is really good. John Billy tried to do that to you, I believe, as well, Joe. Tried to charge around a building to get to your Aomer, I believe.
That's that same deal with the Warbat. He was gonna try and charge Amy. He was just a hair off, I remember.
Yep, he was. I had to rule against it just because of the fact that he looked like he was maybe a 16th of an inch shy. It was very close.
Yeah. It was one.
All right. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
It was one of the, that was one of those things where I forgot he had fell sight, and then when John started measuring for it, I'm like, oh, you can have line of sight. He's like, oh yeah, but he has fell sight. And I'm like, oh,
touche.
crap.
And your buttholes tightened up a little bit.
He ended up. He still ended up catching Aemir, and like I said, just doing what he does best and massacring him.
But yeah, so the White Warg, this is the most important of his special rules, and that's Deadly Union. As long as Azog is mounted upon the White Warg, you can spend either Azog's or the White Warg's stores of might, will, and fate as if they share the same profile. Though you should still mark down which of the two actually spent each point, which is key because you can dismount them. So that's huge. So you're talking about basically Azog potentially having 6 might, 4 will, and 2 fate. So he becomes he's the only hero I can think of outside of Wraiths that would have more than 1 fate point.
Yeah.
Shagrat.
He's got no.
Shagrat
He's
has,
got 3 fate.
yeah, Shagrat has 3.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Well,
He's a
there you
3.
go. Okay.
For some reason he has 3. I guess because he didn't die.
Because he survived. Yeah.
But
but still, who wants to mess with that stat line of
no
might,
one.
will, and fate?
And then you're talking about Master of Battle behind that.
Yeah. So what about those challenges? Who's willing to take a challenge from Azog?
Like I said,
Nobody.
Like I said when we talked about Bulg, I'm absolutely terrified to verse Bulg and or Azog, mostly Azog, just because I know. Like when me and Jason did a battle where I played my Thranduil's Hall's Iron Hills. He played. You had? I know you had Azog. Did you have Bulg on that list too?
No, I didn't because I went with some monsters instead.
Yeah, you took Azog, but Azog one turned. Now here, Azog one turn killed Legolas. I mean, no problem. And he ended up massacring. He like broke me. But yeah, he's a scary dude. Azog terrified. Every game against everyone I've versed, just scary.
So I'll cover the other 2 real quick for the White Warg, and that's Packmaster and the Raging Beast. And Packmaster is once separated from Azog. Only Warg models may use the White Warg stand fast rule or benefit from his heroic actions, which is key again because of the fact he is a hero. He does have the hero keyword under his profile, and you can combo him up with some wild or fell wargs from Azog's hunters. And then when Azog dismounts, the White Warg automatically passes its courage test to stay and fight. Additionally, it will automatically pass all courage tests for the rest of the battle. So that's really good. So that means he's auto-passing broken courage tests as well.
Yeah, it means you could stick him on an objective.
Yeah.
And he won't flee.
That's really powerful. All right, so let's talk about the last thing, which has its own page worth of special rules, and that's the Signal Tower. So we're gonna try and go over this semi-quickly because we've been going for a while now. This will probably be another one that's gonna get cut into 2 parts, which is fine. But that's the signal tower, and so the signal tower consists of 4 major parts: the banner of Dol Guldur, the banner of Gundabad, the banner of Angmar, and the horn of Gorgoroth. So the signal tower comes with 7 of Azog's lieutenants armed with swords to man the tower. These lieutenants do not count as part of Azog's warband and may not lead troops. So they're just simply one might, one will, one fate. They have march, and then ancient enemies for dwarf and elf. So they're kind of like a siege veteran in terms of statistics. Strength 4, defense 5, fight 4. They're like a captain, but not as good. But that is key though, because it gives you 7 more models to your model count, and I don't think they have to stay with the signal tower, so you could use them to run for objectives. So the signal tower. It is placed in position before battle commences, allowing for Azog to command his troops effectively from the start of the battle. Before deployment, but after players have decided on their board edges, the controlling player may place the signal tower plus the 7 of Azog's lieutenants anywhere on the battlefield. The signal tower may not be subsequently moved. Note, the lieutenants must be deployed on the signal tower. So they do have to deploy with it, but I don't think there's anything saying they have to stay with it. Never mind. The very next thing, it must always be manned. So any of Azog's lieutenants may man a part of the signal tower. To do this, they must be in base contact with the part they wish to man. Whilst manned, each part of the signal tower has a different effect as follows. So they give you 7, I'm assuming in case some of them die or they get charged, since there are 4 parts. So the banner Dol Guldur is all friendly Gundabad models on the battlefield count themselves as being in range of a banner. The banner of Gundabad, all friendly Gundabad hero models on the board may declare heroic marches without reducing their store of might. So that's really good because it gives all friendly Gundabad heroes. I'm pretty sure every one of them already has march. Yeah, because we covered that. But that's really good because this is a pretty cap-strapped or might-strapped army when it comes to it outside of Bolg and Azog. So being able to march, especially with an army that can't move very quickly, due to the fact that there's no mounted models other than the 2 heroes, is really cool.
So that's like one of those things where Azog has 6 might plus Master of Battle, then he can call heroic marches for free. Yikes!
Yeah.
That's that's like the most might any hero in the game has.
Well, he's good. It's stupidly expensive because even at 1,000 points, if you take, the way that you have to take Azog is with heavy armor so that he can be defense 7, because you can't have your leader being defense 6, or I'm sorry, defense 5. And then with the white warg, he's up to 225, and then the signal tower pushes him to 425. So I really only see the signal tower being viable at 1,000 points of war, and then only if you just spam, I think, troops after that.
Matt Iverson took it. 20 the last Nova we went to, he had it.
2018.
Yeah, and he had
2019. You guys went in 19.
Yeah, he had berserkers and Gundabad orcs. I don't think he had any monsters, but he had the troops.
Well, that makes sense because the next part is the banner of Angmar, and that's whenever a friendly Gundabad model on the battlefield suffers a wound, roll a d6, and on the natural roll of a 6, they ignore it, similar to Fury. And that actually will make the what's their names?
The berserkers.
Yeah, the berserkers 5+, and it says so in their profile. So you're talking about a berserker taking a wound having a 33% chance of ignoring it. And I've heard that's one of the ways to run it with the signal towers is just go pure berserkers because it's going to affect the entire battlefield. That's great too for your heroes because your heroes have a chance of ignoring the wound as well.
That's a good point.
So, and then the Horn of Gorgoroth counts as a war horn. So your low courage evil army gets +1. And additionally, all enemy models on the battlefield suffer -1 to their courage. Note, this is not cumulative with other rules that confer similar penalties. So unfortunately, your Harbinger Evil with Bolg, would you get it, will not give you -2, but I don't think you'd be taking Bolg if you're taking the signal tower. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that basically gives Azog Harbinger of Evil.
Yeah, for the full battlefield too.
Yeah, that's really good, especially because he causes terror.
Yep.
The white war and stuff.
So the last few things, summoning of the hosts. If the signal tower is taken as an upgrade for Azog, then 24 warriors may be included in his warband rather than 18. which does make sense because, I mean, the signal tower is more expensive than bulk. And they are allowed to deploy within 12 inches rather than the normal 6. And then finally, destroying the signal tower. Each part of the tower has a defense value of 10 with 3 wounds. Each is considered a separate battlefield target. Additionally, if any enemy models spends a full turn in base contact with any part of the signal tower without doing anything, i.e. not shooting, using magical powers, or fighting in combat, then that part of the signal tower is disabled and it's effective. So, that's everything.
The biggest thing about the signal tower, and the reason why I don't think we see it, is actually because there's no model for it. If there was a model for it, because I remember a while ago there was a thing on the Great British League talking about, they were talking about, is the signal tower worth it? And I saw quite a few people who have done really good with the list, like they placed with this army. They've talked about how the tower makes your regular Gundabad orc and your berserkers, they make your Gundabad orcs a whole lot better. You can move really fast in March. You get the banner. You get,
you get a chance you get Fury.
And then also, I mean, I think if you do take the signal tower, I would still consider taking a troll or a couple of ogres, because then they do have terror, and the whole army, the whole battlefield gets -1 of their courage. So your guys are terror models with, and then your opponent has the -1. So I see that being very effective.
Yeah, if I was
think maybe trying to squeeze in one troll and then a couple ogres.
Yeah,
that'd be really good.
Because then they ignore. Does it say infantry, or because they'll ignore wounds on a 6-2, right?
Gundabad models.
Okay, so yeah, okay.
Well, what if somebody said, "Hey, you have to take the signal tower in this army"? I would give Azog his full warband of 24, just because, you know, with the 200-point upgrade, you're going to be a little bit more strapped for points and not going to have as much room to squeeze other heroes in there.
You might only be having him.
Yeah,
well,
it's true.
You are getting the 7 lieutenants.
Yeah, but they have to stay with the signal tower.
Yeah.
Okay.
It says it has to always be manned. So it says that they can man it. I guess you don't have to keep them there because it doesn't specifically say that. It just says that they can man it.
I would keep probably 5 there, and then send the other 3 to go do their own thing.
I would take the 20.
Because they do have March.
Yeah, yep. I would take the 24, and then I would take probably a catapult troll and just park them next to the signal tower.
Yeah.
And lob rocks at people. And then
that's a 1,000 point list right there.
And then if I had points left over, 2 ogres and like a captain with some guys.
Yeah, I might try and squeeze a captain in just to get a couple more points and have maybe a strength 5 guy. But, you know, Joe, I think you're right. The fact that you really don't have to leave those lieutenants there. So you put 5 of them and then you take the other 2 and run them. And they are heroes. So they do get to do heroic marches for free. So that's what you could use those heroes for, is to do the marching and maneuvering like we were talking about via the banner of Gundabad, which gives you the free march. And then you have 2 points of might to play around with in combat and in movement to call heroic movements. So you're not spending Azog's precious 6.
Yeah.
It's an interesting piece. I think just like the catapult troll, like I think you alluded to it, Dan, we don't see it because it's not a model. And there have been several people that have made one. We just don't see it. I mean, I honestly, since I play Gundabad, I don't play, I dabble in it. And I'm nowhere near good enough to make one, but I would be willing to take it if I were to go to a 1,000-point event or just play 1,000-point local event, or, you know, just play locally with it. Try it out. Maybe at 800. I think at 800 I'd probably go more tube heavy.
So, guys, here's what a list would look like after reading the signal tower. This is 1,015, so I have to cut up 15 points.
One Gundabad Berserker.
Yep. So I have 12 Gundabad Berserkers, 12 Gundabad Warriors of Shield and Spear, 1 Gundabad Troll, and 2 Gundabad Ogres.
And Azog.
Azog, he has the tower, he has the warg, he has heavy armor, and then a Gundabad Captain. It's 29. It's 29 models at 1,000 points.
I would potentially drop the captain and then the shields off of the Gundabad orcs.
Well,
And then use the points to get under, and then maybe take another ogre.
Azog's leading 24 guys right now. He has 12 berserkers and 12 warriors.
Okay, so drop one berserker, drop the captain, and then drop 10 shields, and then there's your 60 points. You get another ogre in there. Because if you're going to do like you said and take the lieutenants,
I had 2 ogres.
Yeah, so get a third.
Well, I had a troll too.
So get 3 ogres and a troll.
Well, okay.
What's wrong with that?
No, well, okay. I'm going to cut. Let me cut 3 warriors.
Yeah,
out.
because then
why are you cutting 3 warriors? You drop the captain, which is 50 points. You drop one berserker. All right, so you're at 15 points over. One berserker puts you at 1,000. Drop 10 shields off your spear and shield wall.
Yep.
All right, so that's 10. You drop the captain. That's 60. So 50 points for the captain. And maybe, did you get the captain a shield?
I didn't give him anything.
Okay, so that's 50 points base. So that plus the 10 points from the shield, there's your 60 points. You've already dropped a model in the berserker, so you have an opening. Put the ogre in. So now you're talking about 3 ogres that move 8 inches with running through your own troops for when you need them to, plus the fact that I think I already said they move 8 inches. Then you can do free heroic marches with the 2 lieutenants that you talked about moving, and you've got a troll. What does your opponent focus on? Does he focus on Azog? Does he focus on the ogres? Does he focus on the troll? Does he focus on the signal tower?
That's true.
Here's my list. I can't put anything else in it because Azog's warband is 24 of 24. But I have 9 guys with shield and spear, 11 berserkers, 1 troll, 3 ogres. I got 10 points. I got 20 points I can put in.
Why take the? Okay, I guess I see now why you not ditching the shields. Wait, why not? Yeah, because he has a full warband.
Yeah, he's a full warband.
Okay,
That's why I put the captain in.
Yeah, I understand that, but I thought you said you had 12 guys with shields.
Well, I don't now. I have 9. I could maybe put in a merc captain. No, he's only the same points as a Gundabad captain.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're 50. They are terrible, and they're 50.
Well, anyway, that's my list. I think I wouldn't mind trying something like this because that signal tower seems like it makes your guys who are hot garbage orcs.
I wouldn't say they're hot garbage.
Well, I wouldn't. They're orcs. They're Morannon orcs, and Morannon orcs aren't hot garbage.
They're considered pretty competitive, actually.
Compared to the stuff I like Iron Nose Warriors and Riders of Rohan, they're hot garbage. It makes your guys have a lot more. Man, that signal tower is pretty gnarly.
Yeah, honestly, if I was to build an Azog army, I would actually take Azog, a catapult troll, and then I would actually probably try to ally in the necromancer.
Man,
with
a couple of the ring wraiths.
All right, so here's my 1,000 point Azog Legion. Since we're talking about the signal tower, I got Azog. He's got the white ward, heavy armor, signal tower.
Yep.
6 orc warriors with spear.
Yep.
6 orc warriors with spear and shield. 1 Gundabad troll with crushing club. 1 troll brute. 1 ogre. 1 catapult troll.
You didn't take any berserkers?
Nope. I'm gonna make you come to me.
Yeah, no, and you can with that catapult troll, and you could actually start targeting the Joe. If you're versing Joe with his army, you can start targeting his signal tower guys with your catapults.
Exactly. I can target the signal tower itself because it's a battlefield target.
Oh, if you're versing my Azog army, if you're versing my Azog army, yeah, okay.
I'm just talking in general too. Because now I've got the ability to make you come to me because I'm going to shoot at you with a strength 10 rock with a 2-inch AoE at strength 6. And then, if I do need to move, I've got guys who can march for free. And then, when we get close to combat, I've got a giant troll, I've got a giant troll catapult, I've got a troll brute, and I've got an ogre. So I've got somebody who's going to run into you and hit you with a strength 10. Oh, and by the way, they all cost terror.
Yeah,
that's a basic
that's
6 point. Yeah, so you're talking about 4 things. What do you focus on? You got 5 threats. I think maybe the only thing I might do is maybe cut the ogre and switch the ogre out for a couple warbacks.
And then you're talking about your Master of Battle, Free March, 6 Might, challenging anyone he want, while challenging other legends running around Azog.
Yep.
So,
I think the only scenario I would be truly fearful of is Fog of War, because those lieutenants are minor heroes and they can be targeted.
Yep.
But if that's the case, then I just leave them all with the
just have them camp on the signal tower and have your troll brute guard them, or your
exactly.
catapult troll.
Exactly.
That's actually a pretty scary army, because we saw at our last tournament that sometimes armies that have a lot of like the Great Beast Army, of course, it has its own tools and merits.
Mhm.
But after seeing an army like that perform, where there's ultimately 6 big guys, I can see a list like this doing pretty good at a tournament, depending on the scenarios. And
Well, it's probably gonna do really good for like Lords of Battle.
if you could win Lords of Battle, you'll win Lords of Battle more than likely.
Yeah.
If you play domination, capture control, I can see you winning. I can see you winning that, especially if you're high
Capture control, I
mobility.
could probably win.
Yeah.
Domination would be a little harder.
Does the signal tower deploy anywhere you want, or is it
On your board half.
anywhere in the board half?
It's-
Okay.
Yeah, it says once before deployment, but after players have decided on their board edges, the controlling player may place the signal tower plus the 7 lieutenants of Azog anywhere on the battlefield. Of course, I would assume you'd want to put it on your board edge, because
That would be gnarly though if you dropped that on someone's camp or something, huh?
no, I think it's a terrible idea.
Yeah, I think that would be a bad idea.
Because then those 7 guys are going to get slaughtered, and you're basically throwing away 200 points.
But you can't put his warband down with it.
No.
Oh, it's his own war. It's his own thing.
Yeah, it says
okay.
just the signal tower.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
In that case, that would be absolute shit.
The controller player may place the signal tower plus the 7 of Azog's lieutenants anywhere on the battlefield.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't do that then.
Yeah. So it's not like you're not able to drop Azog there. That would be really cool, and I feel like maybe that's something you should be able to, since you're paying 200 points for it. But yeah.
Well,
that's a wrap.
All right, guys, that's everything. I think we've talked this to death, and I think we're all maybe going to be going and playing some Azog Legion here in the future.
Yeah, go ahead.
my final thought on the army as a whole, it's a Mordor with a lot of crazy stuff in it that honestly I think is fun, and it would be really fun to play, and it's an army I've thought about playing.
Yeah,
I would. Yeah. So, by the way, I just want to say that the signal tower is a very unique piece. I don't think there's any other piece like that in the game.
I would agree with that.
So it's definitely something to look at. I think I've always known Azog's Legion was could be competitive. But, they have so many different tools and things you could get that I think that it'd be fun just to play around with it.
Yeah, I think we've been talking about Azog's Legion since Historicon in 2019.
Yeah.
So it's something I've dabbled in a little bit. Maybe here in the near future, I'll start painting up some more models. I got a few monsters painted up, plus Azog. But maybe I should start painting up some warriors and actually truly start dabbling in it. Well, any last thoughts, guys? We all good?
I'm good.
I think we beat it into the ground.
All right. Well, as always, guys, thank you all for subscribing and following along with us. I hope you enjoyed, but it's probably going to be the second of 2 videos now, since I'm sure Dan's going to cut this. We've been going for probably close to 2 hours now, but that's cool. Please leave comments below if there is an army you would like us to cover. Going to be moving on to Good next, and maybe it'll be one from I don't know which book we'll go to next, but yeah, we'll be covering Good. So as always, guys, please like, share, subscribe. Check out our Patreon we're working on, and just enjoy your Middle Earth hobby. Take it easy, y'all.